With a rich history, 150 years in the making, the MLB has given us more plays to choose from than we know what to do with. There is no shortage of plays that demonstrate incredible athleticism or make the difference in a critical game. But the plays that make the cut on this list are those unforgettable single moments that have had the power to define an athlete, a team, and a franchise. Hi, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Michael.
And we're the creators of The Ninth, a new CBC show hitting Gem this spring.
May 16th, catch it.
Today we're bringing you the top 10 lists of the 10 greatest baseball plays of all time.
Gotta love a good baseball play. Kicking off our list at number 10, we have one of the most memorable plays in MLB history, one that Boston fans have wanted to forget for decades. Bill Buckner's Game 6 World Series era. Ouch.
It was October 6, 1986, Game 6 of the World Series. With 2 outs in the 10th inning, the Mets were trailing 5-4. Mookie Wilson hit a ground ball straight to the Sox first baseman Bill Buckner. It's practically rolling. A child could catch it. Buckner, 1980 All-Star player, somehow let the ball roll between his legs. This allowed Ray Knight to score and the Mets to win the World Series.
That is a costly error.
It's a doozy.
Yeah, he got Bucknered. He was the original Bill Buckner.
Yeah. Some would say that the right fielder, whose name escapes me right now, is also to blame for this because he didn't back him up.
Yeah,
if he'd backed him up, he was behind there, ready to catch the ball, he could have thrown that out.
Gotta back that thing up.
That said, it was such a routine grounder, no one would back it up. Be like, whatever.
Yeah. Be like,
yeah, you grab it. Yeah. Nah, don't worry, I can
it.
catch this.
Just
a
World Series on the line. Who cares? Not important.
So not everyone to blame, but also some would say curse of the Bambino.
Yeah, some would say that.
Some would say.
You said that just now.
I said it, curse of the Bambino.
So possibly the grounder's coming to him, Bill Buckner squared up, and he's like, this is the play, I'm gonna win the World Series. And then his head, he just hears Babe Ruth making love to his mother, and he's like, ah!
Yeah, Babe Ruth.
Right through.
Right through.
And don't kid yourself, Babe Ruth was making love to a lot of people's mothers back in the day.
Catch it?
Oh, he caught something. There's no doubt about that. He definitely had syphilis.
Oh, he caught a lot of things.
Yeah. Which brings us to number 9 on our list, Jim Edmonds over the shoulder catch.
With nicknames like Jimmy Baseball and Jimmy Ballgame, it's no secret that Jim Edmonds was a solid player. He was a prolific batter, batting .284, but he's best known for his defensive abilities, particularly his catches. And there's no question which catch was his greatest. One of the greatest catches in baseball history. June 10th, 1997. It's the 5th inning of the game between the Angels and the Kansas City Royals. Already a world-class outfielder, fans had already learned to expect a lot from Edmonds, but no one expected him to make this catch. Edmonds had to sprint down the center field and dive before catching the ball over his shoulder. What a catch.
That was, yeah, it's incredible. It's an incredible catch. I love how he just lies there and holds up the ball. He choreographed that. He's like, one day I make a catch. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna lie there and hold up the ball.
The look on his face, that is like pure elation.
Yeah.
That's one of those times where it happens and he's just ecstasy, bliss.
Yeah, he was definitely on ecstasy.
He was super happy.
You heard it here first. Jimmy Baseball was a rolling Molly fiend. I'd like to also point out that his nickname was Jimmy Baseball, and I guarantee he gave himself that nickname. The day one trade camp, he's like, I'm Jimmy Baseball. And they're like, yeah, okay. He's like, no, I'm Jimmy Baseball.
Sure thing, Jimmy.
And they're like, yeah, okay, Jimmy Baseball, no problem.
That reminds me of the Seinfeld when George wants to be called T-Bone, and he tries to orchestrate this big plan, hatch a whole thing to be called T-Bone, but he ends up losing it, so they call him Coco the Monkey. For
our top 10 George Costanza moments, click here.
Here. Click here.
I'm an architect.
Which brings us to number 8, the Buck Martinez double play, where he breaks his leg. Ouch.
All right, so he breaks his leg on this one.
Yeah.
Being a catcher, to start with, it's back pain, knee pain. Ugh. You're looking
You're crouching.
You're looking at butts all day.
Dude, do you think those guys aren't farting in your face? They
totally are.
That is a strategy.
Shit talking.
They shit talking.
And you also have to have the mental prowess to call the game, call the pitches, run the infield. You're doing a lot of work.
And the finger dexterity. You gotta really get those signs going.
Yeah.
No, if you're lazy, someone's gonna throw a curve that hit a home run. You lost the game because you're like, yeah.
And on top of that, until 1994, there was also a chance that you would get plowed over by a runner coming in to home plate.
But once Kurt Cobain died, they kind of got rid of that rule.
They actually instituted a rule in 1994 because so many catchers were getting hurt.
Yeah. Kurt Cobain, first and foremost among them.
I guess. Look it up. Catch it. On July 9th, 1985, Blue Jays catcher Buck Martinez demonstrated incredible grit, managing to do his job while getting crunched at home plate twice in one play. What's remarkable about this is not only does he break a leg, he gets the first guy out, but then from his legs, he tags the other runner. So it's a double play, broken leg.
Dying on the battlefield, manages to pull off that one last shot that kills the enemy general.
It's wild stuff.
Yeah, you can't make it up, folks. Which is why we did. There is no Buck Martinez. It's been a clever ruse.
He's also the voice of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Get out, ball! Get out!
He's great.
I love when he says, get out, ball. Ball can't hear you, but sometimes it's nice to think that it could.
Old Buck.
Old Becky.
I also like when announcers have played in the game, so they give you that insight. When Buck Martinez is calling a game and he's talking about what it's like to be a catcher.
Yeah, he's like, I broke my fucking legs on this play. What has this douchebag done for me lately?
Yeah, he knows a thing or two.
Yeah, he knows.
Or two. Which brings us to number 7.
Speaking of two, brings us right to number 7. Ozzie Smith's diving barehanded grab. One of the greatest infield plays of all time.
While Ozzie Smith would eventually become one of the greatest shortstops of all time, earning 13 consecutive Golden Glove awards and the nickname The Wizard, it was during his rookie season with the San Diego Padres that he would define his career with one of the most incredible plays of all time.
Wow, that was the athletic prowess, the vision, just the reaction time it would take to do something like that. That's incredible.
And I don't know if they were using like the super slow-mo cameras at that point, because I've looked at this clip a lot.
Yeah.
And you have to really watch it, really get into it to fully understand how insane a play it was. Because the ball, it's coming at him. He's already having to make a big lateral move over to catch it. It's got the glove ready to go, and then it hits a divot or hits something and goes the other way.
Yeah.
He has the ability to get his arm out, catch it, and make the throw.
I'd like to know a little bit more about this divot. Where did this divot come from? This is a professional ball-playing stadium. They don't check for divots beforehand? It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it
that's a
could have been
conspiracy
a rock,
theory that hasn't been well discussed. The Ozzie Smith divot.
And a lot of other players...
Could have been a rock. There's a rock in the infield? Why was there a rock?
Pebble, maybe.
A pebble would change the direction of the ball that much?
It could.
I think there was a second shooter.
No. One ball.
Well, maybe.
One
Let's
ball,
look at
one
the film
divot.
again. Cut to a clip of the Zapruder film. And be like, notice how Ozzie Smith goes back and to the left.
Yeah, back and to the left.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
After the ground ball changed direction, Ozzie had to improvise and make a catch with his bare hand in order to nail Jeff Burroughs of the Atlanta Braves.
Way to nail Jeff Burroughs, eh? He wasn't an easy guy to nail.
No, it's an incredible play. And a lot of other players, when interviewed, agree. This is not only an amazing play, top 10 play. Many say, greatest infield defensive play of all time.
It was a very good infield defensive.
What do you think at home? Is this the greatest infield baseball defensive play of all time?
Tweet at us at Vanderpump Rules.
The greatest.
Yeah.
Catch it.
Which brings us all the way to our 6th pick of the list. Bill Whamsgam's unassisted triple play.
In Game 5 of the 1920 World Series, Bill Whamsgams accomplished the first and so far only unassisted triple play in World Series history.
Man, we don't have footage of it because this was well before Marie Curie had discovered motion pictures. But you can imagine what an unassisted triple play would look like. Mm-hmm. He probably caught a fly ball. Mm-hmm. In the infield.
Well, there is a transcription of the play. We know exactly what he did.
Why don't you walk us through it?
To do the triple play, Whamsgams catches the ball cleanly. There's your first out. Then steps on second base. There's your second out. And tags Miller running from first base. There's your third out. So unassisted. And the unassisted part of a triple play is that there were no, he didn't throw it to anyone else to touch the bag. There was no assisting within it. So That's a big one. That doesn't happen that often. That is kind of from my research, that's the most traditional kind of unassisted triple play is the catch the fly ball, step on the bag, and the tag out. But he did it in a World Series.
Yeah, when it really matters.
When it really counts.
Yeah. It's not game, 112 versus the Mets. Like, this is the real deal, people. This is the World Series.
Money on the game.
Yeah. All right, to be honest, we don't have the footage of the unassisted triple play, but what we do have is maybe even better. A picture of Bill Wansgams with all 3 of the Brooklyn Robins that he got out standing in a line from shortest to tallest. What are the odds?
What are the odds of that?
What are the odds?
We also have a collection of great triple plays in recent MLB history. Let's take a look at that.
The runners are going. The hit and run is on. And it's going to be a triple play. Out number 2 and out number 3. An unassisted triple play for Rafael Furcal.
Runners go.
Yeah, they start the runners off.
Triple play. Caught by Cabrera. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3.
There go the runners. Ripped, caught by Mike Lowe. And there's the tag. It is going to be a triple play. Mike Lowe's going to throw to first. How about that?
And for our number 5 pick, we're going with Kirk Gibson's walk-off homer.
It's October 15th, 1988, Game 1 of the World Series. The Oakland Athletics are playing the LA Dodgers in Los Angeles. Kirk Gibson was the Dodgers' best hitter, but with 2 injured legs, he had few to spare and did not start the game. With a 1-run lead, Oakland brought in closer Dennis Eckersley, the bottom of the 9th. Eckersley soon got 2 outs, but he walked the next batter because he was left-handed and he'd rather pitch to right-handed hitter Dave Anderson. Seeing Eckersley was going to pass up on the lefty, the Dodgers pulled Anderson and inserted a severely injured Gibson, who batted lefty himself, as their pinch hitter. With 3 balls and 2 strikes, Eckersley threw a slider, which Gibson hit over the right field fence. It was a home run win for the Dodgers. All Gibson had to do was hobble around those bases. Wow.
Wow, indeed.
The guy can barely walk.
It's pretty dramatic, pretty cinematic to see him going up to the plate. Like he's kind of stumbling up there, but then he locks it in and he cranks it.
Yeah, and he does it with his upper body strength. He doesn't step into it. He has no legs. So he's just like.
And when you're hitting, a lot of it comes from below. So
the hips.
He had to really push it.
Yeah.
Vin Scully with the call, like the magical, the majestic Vin Scully, you would say.
My God. Gun your head, Vin Scully, Vin Diesel.
Baseball game or in a car driving?
The gun's to your head. They're not giving you any other explanations. These are dangerous men you're dealing with. They pulled a gun on you and asked you a question. You can't haggle with them. Gun your head. Vin Diesel, Vin Scully.
I'm gonna go Vin Scully.
I'm going Vin Diesel.
Which brings us to number 4 on the list, The Catch by Willie Mays. In Game 1 of the 1954 World Series with the Cleveland Indians facing the New York Giants, Willie Mays makes perhaps the most iconic defensive play of all time.
At the top of the 8th inning, the score was 2-2. Cleveland had runners on first and second. Wickwurtz hit a deep one to center field. Mays, who was playing shallow center field, made a running over-the-shoulder catch to make the out, and rapidly returns the ball infield from nearly 500 feet deep to stop the runner from scoring.
They call it The Catch. I mean,
the definitive catch.
We don't really have to say much more about it.
Yeah, all other catches, that is the platonic form of a catch. All other catches
are compared to this
catch. Look at what I like most about it is how does he see the ball? Like, is he just tracking the ball? He's kind of looking, but he's kind of just got a...
Also, partly why this moves up a bit on the list is he also fires the ball in to prevent a run from scoring.
Kid had an arm like a cannon.
And if we're talking about great arms, we got a couple more. We can talk about Bo Jackson. We can talk about Jesse Barfield. We can talk about Vlad Guerrero.
We could.
Which is a natural segue into Vlad Guerrero Jr., which is probably the bright spot for the Blue Jays right now.
Let's go Blue Jays.
Let's go Jays.
Let's go Jays. Vladdy.
Which brings us to number 3 on the list, Tony Womack's game-tying double.
Womack.
Whoa, Tony. It was Game 7 of the 2001 World Series between Arizona and the Yankees. The score, 2-1 New York. With 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, with runners on first and second, Tony Womack, a mediocre hitter at best, is up to bat against probably the greatest closer of all time, Mariano Rivera.
Womack manages to hit it deep into right field. And at the end of the play, the Diamondbacks not only scored to tie the game, but the winning run was on third base with just one out. No surprise, the Diamondbacks won the game for their first and so far only World Series title. It also ended the Yankees' evil dream of a fourth consecutive title. Fuck you, Yankees. Nobody wants to see you win.
This play is ranked so high because the probability of him not only hitting the ball, but getting a double is astronomical. It was pretty much impossible. And he did it also during the World Series, and it made the Yankees lose, so it automatically bumps it up the list.
I like that, but I'm going to have to, this is under protest that this is higher than Willie Mays' catch. That's all I got to say.
Also, Mariano Rivera, an incredible closer, and he dusts him. He hits it off him.
Dusts him up.
Ranked high.
This is one of the best doubles of that series.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Ranking it as one of the greatest.
No, I mean
of all time.
it leads to the winning of the series.
It's definitely better than Ozzie Smith catching something. It's all
It's
situational.
situated. It's bottom of the ninth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, no, totally.
It's game 7. Bottom of the ninth, game 7. The game is on your back.
Bottom of the line games. Yeah. Oh, what about David Freese? Remember his?
That was a great one.
Dan, your last strike with the Cardinals. Hometown boy David Freese.
Davey
The
Freese.
big hit. Love him. Moving on to number 2, we have Bill Mazeroski's homer for the win.
The ultimate walk-off. It's October 13th, 1960, Forbes Field. It's game 7 of the World Series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the New York Yankees. Bottom of the ninth, and the score is all tied up 9-9. This is still early on in Maz's storied career, but he was already an All-Star and a Golden Glove recipient. Known more for his legendary defensive capabilities, Maz was about to prove he was a slugger too.
Maz hits a series-winning walk-off home run, the first and only in a Game 7 World Series history. That is clutch.
So this is another situational one.
Yeah.
We're talking game 7.
Yeah.
We're talking bottom of the ninth.
Man.
And it's a walk-off. He walks it off.
A walk-off, that's when you're playing baseball with your brother, you know, on a breezy fall afternoon.
Stickball even.
Playing stickball. You're saying to yourself, okay, game 7, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
All tied up.
This guy lived that and then hit the home run when that must have felt pretty damn
Incredible.
good. Yeah.
Incredible.
Whew.
This was the only walk-off homer in World Series history until number 1 on our list.
And number 1 is Joe Carter's 1993 Game 6 walk-off homer. Touch 'em all, Joe. Touch 'em all.
The Jays had won their first World Series ever the previous year, with Joe Carter catching the final out as the first baseman. In Game 6 of the 1993 World Series between Toronto and Philly at the Skydome, Toronto was leading the series 3-2, but at the bottom of the ninth, Philly was leading the game 6-5. With Jays on first and second, Joe Carter hits deep through left field and over the wall.
Blue Jays radio announcer Tom Cheek said, classically, touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Which sounds like a threat or a mean thing to say, but like, that was it. That was the high point, buddy. Get used to downhill
But
from here
beautiful.
on out.
One of the greatest play calls of all time. And, you know, I think we should, full disclaimer, this is ranked really high on the list, partly because we're huge Blue Jays fans.
Yeah.
Toronto kids grew up. I remember watching this play.
I was 10, I remember.
Yeah, it feels a little more special maybe to us in this room right now, but watching Joe, like the hands up, running, jumping on the bases, like it's everything you want in a baseball moment.
Yeah, it's kind of the most incredible thing. It still genuinely makes me
Goosebumps.
smile.
I got goosebumps.
It genuinely makes me smile. It's incredible.
It was a heck of a play.
Oh yeah, and the fact that we won over the Phillies is extra special.
Yeah.
just
You were able to go around to all those American baseball fans, be like, wasn't just a flash in the pan winning one. We won two.
Two World Series.
World Series winners. Series.
Yeah,
Many series.
Yeah, one of a few teams that actually win back-to-back.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of that, what was the name of that group where they wore their clothes backwards?
Crisscross.
Let's run a clip of Crisscross.
Yeah. Those kids were adorable.
They were great.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were kids.
Yeah.
I thought they were adult entertainers.
Do you think they came up with that idea, or you think that was a whole marketing thing? It's like, you guys aren't necessarily that great, but you know what'll put you up over the top? Put your clothes on backwards.
Genius.
Genius.
Well,
Who's the guy who came up with the Backstreet Boys and the NSYNC? What was that guy's name?
I just watched the documentary.
Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
who's the 100% the Hulk?
Oh, it's Lou Ferrigno. But let's run a super clip of the greatest boy bands of all time.
Wow. I think my favorite was Backstreet Boys. Sorry to be basic, but they were kind of amazing.
They were great. And I mean, if you look at what they went on to do,
I know.
continued
Go to space. Didn't one of them go to space?
Continued to back.
One of them went to space, I think.
I don't think that's true.
Joey Fatone went to space. Let's look it up.
Joey
Look it up.
Fatone.
What?
Joey Fatone's an
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Joey Fatone. No, I said...
Yeah, you
let's
said you liked Backstreet Boys.
Yes.
Joey Fat One.
No, listen. I said I like Backstreet Boys, and then I said, but NSYNC does have the fact that Joey Fatone went to space. So Backstreet Boys. Sorry to be basic, but they were kind of amazing.
They were great. And I mean, if you look at what they went on to do,
I know.
continued
Go to space. Didn't one of them go to space?
Continued.
Well, that about does it for us. But before we wrap it up, let me remind you to watch The Ninth, coming out on CBC Gem May 16th. Catch it.
And
And please subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twizzler, Tinder, Grindr, MySpace, Your Space, His Space, and Their Space.
all the spaces.
Yep.
Catch it.
Catch it.